What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Liam and Davis back. I am very sick, so might cut this to an hour. We will see how I'm feeling. Maybe this is my Michael Jordan flu game. Gonna draft the winner here.
Could be sick. Could be sick to draft the winning team. Basically dying.
So, Davis, since our last show, we have some news that we want to talk about. Number one, happened a while ago, but Jordan Mason was traded to the Vikings.
Yes.
This is a big win, in my opinion, for any draft that ended Mason and Guerendo, where, enthusiasm for Mason is really taken off. It's not hard for people to see him sharing the workload with Aaron Jones. Guerendo, not really. I think people are still worried they'll draft a running back, maybe Ginty, if they're getting really crazy. I think Guerendo's a pretty good gamble, though, until we get to the draft.
I think he's a pretty good gamble, but not so much that I'm like, oh, I want to have like 16% of this guy, because there's a lot of ways that guys of that profile fail. Like a practice squad guy who wasn't productive in college, who only played because multiple guys ahead of him died. The thing that people
him a practice squad guy, because he was like a 4th round pick or something like this.
So without the Elijah Mitchell injury, he would have started the season. In fact, I believe he did start the season on the practice squad.
I don't think so, because if you draft a guy in the 4th and you put him on the practice squad, you open yourself up to someone signing him away. So I think he would have been on the active roster. He might have been RB4 or whatever, right? Like
he would have been a healthy scratch, because he doesn't return kicks. But
that's a far cry from the practice squad. He did have 420 rushing yards last year on 84 attempts. So, honestly, like pretty good production, just rookie year. Obviously, that was with CMC getting hurt. And again, this dude's a 10.0 Raz guy. And what I remember about him is he literally caught like a 40-yard pass.
He did. It was actually one of the better plays that Purdy made all year. Purdy like rolls out. Guerendo is running the wheel route, and it was actually like the golden reception in the college football playoff game. He caught it, landed on the one, and then rolled his body. It was a very good play. I liked Guerendo. So Guerendo was a guy I liked last season in Best Ball Mania, because I liked the physical profile. But to be clear, this was a guy who never produced in college until Jawar Jordan. Remember Jawar Jordan, round 18, Jawar Jordan for the Houston Texans? Never produced.
I do. That's the one that did that.
So the only reason he ever played was that guy got injured. He was at Wisconsin the same time as Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi, who's not even going to get drafted. Ches Malusi isn't, and transferred because he couldn't beat out either of those young fellas. And you could take it, depending on your opinion of Braylon Allen, that can inform your position on Guerendo. I think Guerendo is fine. I don't view him as like a smash.
Well, my point is that most running backs have a negative ADOT. The amount of running backs that actually can catch a 40-yard touchdown is a very short list, right? It's like James Cook occasionally, Ty Johnson on these like weird Josh Allen routes.
Kamani Vidal, it was not that.
It's not going to be a big part of his game plan, but you have brittle CMC. He's a pretty good appealing gamble. Mason, obviously, huge winner. Like ADP's not really caught up here, but
no, huge win.
But like Mason or Travis Etienne, that's like a roll of the dice to me, right?
Mason. I think I'd rather have Mason, like truth serum wise.
I have them ranked right next to each other. Mason or Tank Bigsby, like quite similar.
Yeah, right? Very similar, 100%.
And then I said this before, but the biggest thing, every team does this, but remember the Vikings defense was this like #1 run defense, blitz heavy.
And Mason smashed them in
Yeah,
week. It's
Mason had
every
like,
NFL teams. They're so funny. The guy who crushes them, they always. It happens all the time, man. It's so funny.
but that's pretty bullish for him for the fact that it's Kevin O'Connell trading for him. And yeah, he did go like 30 carries for like 150 in that game or something.
No, it is. I mean, it's insanely bullish. It is like the most bullish. Like it's got to be the best handcuff running back spot in football because there's no running back 3 at all who will threaten you. You know, it's Cam Akers and Ty Chandler. You know, Cam Akers on like his 9th team, who only is there for the scheme fit, and Ty Chandler, who got shadow realmed. They still only have 4 picks in the draft. They did not pick up.
They're going
an
to trade
extra
down,
pick,
right? Like they almost have
for
to trade
sure.
down. But
The people are not enjoying the fact that I took Genty over Nico Collins. These very same people are going to be rushing all over themselves to draft Ashton Genty 6th overall when he is the 10th overall pick in. That's what I mean. It's just the way it is, man. You gotta skate to where the puck is going.
I did I talked rookies with JJ yesterday, and like the chat was like, you know, I said, okay, let's play a game because this is literally the decision you need to make right now. Gene T or CMC, Gene T or Derrick Henry, right? Gene T or HM. And you know, I think half the chat / community, they just don't want anything to do with an expensive rookie. Like they'll correlate it with Marvin Harrison Jr., whatever. You know, not that that's sensical. And I mean, look, it's not like CMC is a bad roll of the dice when you're chasing upside, right? Like, arguably the best roll of the dice. So,
I was saying this to Corain the other day, but like let's say we get to August, CMC no setbacks, you know, he's chilling. He actually plays in a preseason game. He like rolls out there in the first series, catches like a nice little like 13-yard scamper. You know, he's like looks great. You know, he's doing his commercials. I mean, aren't we just taking McCaffrey in the first round again?
I mean, so here's the thing. Can he ever flip Gibbs, Bijan, and Saquon? Do you think that will ever happen?
Not this year, no. But actually, I'm looking at the board right now. This is very funny. McCaffrey went 7 here. Totally possible to me that he flips all these wide receivers. I actually completely buy that.
Yeah, so that is like I agree where I just don't think there's anything that will have him consistently flipping Gibbs, Bijan, Saquon, just safety reasons. But will there be drafts where people take him at the 102? Sure. And there should be, right? Like these are game theory edge. Like he is the perfect guy to just take at the 1-2 turn because he heavily correlates with, you know, the one. Yeah, he heavily correlates with this side of the board. So just pulling him up and saying he's going to be the #1 player in fantasy this year.
Yeah.
On occasion, I think is pretty good. But yeah, no, like it's such the market is so news dependent as far as like what people are doing. An example, which we're going to get to, is Stefon Diggs is just like rising in cost now as if he never was going to.
It's
play
because
football.
something just happened.
Exactly.
Because literally something happened. I moved him up. I think I moved him up 2 spots in my rankings. The only reason I did that is there was some chance that Stefon Diggs signed somewhere where he would not have a chance to lead the team in targets. Like I mean, I don't know. We could go through some spots and think about it, but he's clearly in a spot that if he is healthy, he can. Like, let's say he comes back in week 4, starts a little bit slow. So let's just say week 8 to week 17. Can Stefon Diggs average 8.5 targets per game from week 8 to week 17? I think he probably can.
I mean, is Vrabel going to turn Drake May into like a 15 pass attempt guy and they're going to establish it? I mean, no, yes. Like, but to finish the CMC point, like if we get a positive report, he's going to rise just because it's news about the player, right? So Diggs, let's talk about the Diggs thing. Number one, it's obviously kind of a crazy overpay, but that doesn't matter
But it's
because
basically a 1-year deal.
it's basically a 2-year deal because you don't give a guy $26 million guaranteed for half a year, right? So it's basically, I would view it as a 2-year deal. And I mean, honestly, I think it's an overpay. Who cares? The Patriots have cap space, and they
Right.
literally had no other option.
They had billions of dollars to spend. They had who else? What were they going to do? They're going to offer they're going to offer Keenan Million $30 million a year. Like, yeah, I completely agree with you, Liam.
Yeah, they had no option because everyone told them no. Right now, 3 years, $69 million for Stefon Diggs. I might just get DK Metcalf for 5 for 150 at that point, right? If all Stefon Diggs does is help Javon Baker or Jalen Polk be a professional wide receiver, he's worth the signing for the Pats, right? I'm still like, I'm going to be taking him. I have been taking him. Obviously, you're still concerned about when he's going to be productive.
I have not been taking him because I have 2 guys who go behind him in average draft position ranked ahead of him in Hollywood Brown and Trey Harris. So I've had them ranked ahead. So I've got like some of him, but he's not like a core tenant for my strategy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a pretty flat tier where you could see Hollywood being awesome. You could see Stefon Diggs being awesome, right? So it is, I mean, it's good for May, right? At least they have some semblance of a professional wide receiver. And they got to draft someone, right? And I think, to me,
it's a
Russell
good class
Wilson,
if you need someone in the second round.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys. But to me, Russell Wilson signing with the Giants signals that they're going to go Travis Hunter. I personally think that. Like, I don't think it means we're drafting Shadur. So, and that might be who the Patriots really wanted. So they might be feeling a little screwed,
The Patriots just need a lineman so bad. Like, so bad, man. They like, I think I think the Patriots, even if Hunter was there, which I don't think he will be at 4, I think, man, who's going to take Hunter now? Because
I think
yes,
the Giants.
maybe that
Well,
is
unless the Browns do it. Like I think the Giants, though. I mean,
the whole thing hinders on what is the truth on Shadur. Who is telling the truth on Shadur? Are the betting markets telling the truth on Shadur? Are scouts telling the truth on Shadur? Like, who is telling the truth on Shadur Sanders? And frankly, I don't really know.
Well, to me, what I picked up from that is, I mean, obviously Russ is going to start the year as the quarterback. And, it's a little bit of a disaster to have your quarterbacks be Russ and Jameis, but having a core of Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter, we might be viewing that of like the 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in football to build around, which, if that's what Travis Hunter is, like, I'm doing that. And then I'm going to try to trade up for Dart, trade up for, or just take Jalen Milroe in round 2, whatever. But yeah, I think if the Browns don't take Hunter, which they don't
really where Najee Harris is going,
people are losing their mind there. I mean, they are really losing their mind.
I was taking Najee early, man, but we are over our fucking skis, brother. We sorry to interrupt, man, but Jesus,
No, don't worry.
Guys, I'm telling you, man, this is so misguided. Oh, Najee ahead of Montgomery. What scenario does he outscore Montgomery? Not even talking about the rookies.
The
How does
Chargers
he
don't draft
Montgomery?
anyone. That is the.
I don't know, man. If they don't draft anyone, they're going to re-sign Dobbins. If they go 7 rounds not drafting anyone, they're going to take J.K. Dobbins back on a nothing deal.
I'm getting all the rookie backs.
Caleb Johnson is a good, like, he is a silly fella. Back to the draft, though. I feel like
back to Russell. So first
yes,
off,
sorry.
first impressions of Russell. He's still a hard. Like, I mean, look, they could definitely still draft Shadur. I don't think that anyone views him as a top 5 talent. That's my personal opinion. But you know, and the weird thing is, the Browns might not need Abdul Carter, so they might just take
No,
Hunter
they
because.
don't. Do you follow Cleve TA on Twitter? He's
Yeah, I think so.
he's like a big analytics guy, big Browns fan. He did this whole big post the other day, like basically, if you're trying to be serious, Abdul Carter makes no sense. If you're trying to build for the future, it also makes no sense. Like like the idea of having like multiple sick edge rushers, like it really, even if he is quote unquote the best value, it still doesn't really make
If he's
a
a
ton of sense.
legitimate Hall of Fame talent, I'm pretty tempted to just say you've never seen 2 Hall of Fame talents like this on the same D line,
Sure. Right, but
right?
he's probably, I don't know who the fuck to take here. Huh. I don't uh I'll take Hawkinson. Sure. Whatever. I really did not know what to do
You're
there.
you're
I
not
was
in you're not into Igbuka?
I just took Burden. I don't want to I don't like doing the double rookie wide receiver, particularly when I already
I
had
don't
the
think
double
2 is a
stack.
big deal.
So
I
I'm
don't think
gambling on Purdy coming all the way back to me. But if Purdy goes in the next 22 picks or whatever, which he probably will because I just said it, and I took 2 rookie wide receivers, then I am out of stacks. Basically, I
Yeah,
have
I
the
mean, I
one stack
personally would have
possible.
taken Igbuka unless you just don't like him.
And I don't really. The chat is sick of me talking about it, but I don't really like Ibuka compared to the market.
JJ loves Burden. I mean, he gave comps of like Aiyuk.
Yeah, he knows JJ knows ball. But the anti-burden slappies. But anyway, back to the Browns thing. Let's make a
And
closer
Russell
point
Wilson.
here.
Like, we gotta get a,
And Russell Wilson. So Browns, frankly, if you made me set percentages today, I would say it's like I think it's like 55% they take Shadur. On Russell Wilson, he can
really.
still throw. Like Russ can still spin the ball out, but the big issue is the dude can't move. It's the same thing as Rodgers. He cannot move. So it just limits what you can do on offense so much that and the coaches are gonna know that and they're gonna play slow. They're gonna run. It's not gonna be a super fantasy friendly. But I mean, for Neighbors, like obviously it doesn't matter. Like Neighbors is so good. Um,
I
it
think
doesn't matter.
it's like pretty good news for Darius Slayton,
Yeah,
where Russ
Moonball.
can Russ can throw the moon ball. We could legitimately be looking at like 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, whatever for him. I don't want to be drafting Russ a lot for job concerns. I don't want to be pairing Russ and Jameis either. And yeah, they're still pretty likely to add someone. Obviously, it seems Rodgers will be the Steelers. I do kind of like how everyone just like made his decision for him. They're like, we're not waiting anymore, right? Like, we're signing Russ. You're going to the Steelers. You're going to no one. I don't believe the Viking rumor, but yeah, I mean, obviously you like Neighbors more if Jameis is the quarterback, but
The thing with Jameis is, I mean, first off, a 2-year, what is it, $8 million deal? I mean, that is basically nothing. I believe Cooper Rush got more money than that. So it shows you what the market thinks of Jameis. It shows you what the Giants think of Jameis. And furthermore, Jameis always gets benched, like every year of his career, the dude just gets benched. And frankly, 1 year, $10 million for Russ, it really does not like, I agree with you. It signals they're not as interested in Shadur, but it doesn't preclude them. $14 million per year on your QB2 and your QB3 is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know how like it seems Carter and Hunter are pretty unique prospects,
Yeah.
and I don't know how you pass on one of those guys
No,
unless
I'm inclined to agree with you. Yeah.
unless you
All
like
right.
really love. This
This
team is terrible, by the
fucking
way.
guy. This fucking guy. I knew Purdy wasn't going to come back. Well, the other reason why I couldn't take Purdy there, I guess I could have, but I took Jaden Daniels. So I was doubling up on quarterback. Didn't feel that good.
You could have just taken Purdy at the Hawkinson pick. That would have been fine, but I think the gamble's fine too.
Yeah.
My team only got 4 wide receivers. We're rolling the dice. Brandon Cooks is also a Saint. You could see him having some twilight years, or I guess he's a Saint again, right? Because he was with Breeze a long time ago.
0.89 yards per route run for Brandon Cooks last year.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, no, it's not.
Tyreek Hill, I still see that he has a cast on his wrist, but he's
Kind of
running in
crazy.
the sand.
Good for him. Good for him. All right. So basically, I'm just trying to shoot the moon on this team anyways. Like this is just gonna be a total. I'm just gonna have all the right one-off pieces. So I'm gonna take Marvin Mims and I'm gonna take Colston Loveland actually. This is a vibes-based draft. This is not my best work. We're really just
I mean, I have
vibing here.
5 running backs, dude. So I kind of like though the Gibbs and Warren, who I mean, Warren could for sure be a league winner, and then you got the three rookies who we expect to still go high. Opinions are all over the place on Judkins and Henderson still. You changing your opinions at all? You're just waiting for the draft here.
Changing my opinions on Judkins and Henderson.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a lot higher on Judkins after the combine because I basically thought the opposite of what would happen, where I expected Henderson to be a combine superstar, but for NFL teams to feel a little bit more reticent about drafting him because he was really only a workhorse once at Ohio State. Judkins was a workhorse as an 18-year-old, got banged up a little bit, but was like super strong in missed tackles forced per attempt, broken tackles, all that stuff. And I thought that, like, oh, this guy's just not going to be that athletic. Like, he'll run a 4.5, he'll be fine, but he was awesome at like every drill. He was really strong.
Yeah.
So I moved Judkins up a lot.
Let's play guess the landing spot.
Yeah.
Hampton.
Bears.
Hampton.
Bears.
Bears at 10.
Bears at 10. Or they trade down.
It's kind of crazy, but I see it. Okay, fine. Then
Ben Johnson took Gibbs at 12, traded up to take Gibbs at 12. You know,
no disrespect to Hampton, but was he quite the same prospect of Gibbs? No, I don't think so.
No. Although Gibbs maybe not as strong of a prospect as we would like backfill in our memory because he's been so good in the NFL. Like he never had 1,000 yards. Wasn't really a pass catcher until his final year. I mean, he was incredible that final year at Bama, but only 380 carries in college for him as well.
I would say I feel like the Chargers find a way to make it happen. I want to say Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys are gonna like draft Tet McMillan.
No, they're taking Golden, dude.
You think so?
Yeah. I think the thing that is gonna make people the most angry is when Golden goes ahead of Tet in the NFL draft. You know, all these nerds with their numbers on the internet are gonna be like, can't believe you take Golden over Tet, the production, yada yada. But yeah, that is gonna it's gonna happen.
Have you heard / seen the rumors that he his timer started early on the 40?
Golden's timer?
Yeah.
So he's even faster.
So he's started no, he's like they think he's slower than that.
They think he's slower.
Yeah, they're like pausing the video and being like, this is a 4.39 or something or whatever.
I mean, I had not heard that. It's kind of interesting though, because if that is
One of
the
the
case,
PFF guys was like tweeting, asking like, "Does anyone know if it's laser timed at the start? I know it is at the end."
there you
And then
go.
they're
Lutz
like
says
pausing it.
it's more like a 4-3-9. You know what the funniest thing is, and I don't want to belabor the point too much because we talked about it yesterday, but Xavier Restrepo with the although did you see his tweet that he
I
said
did
like
see his tweet that
I hurt my hamstring, which frankly makes way more sense than his fucking coaches and his agent letting him run a 4.86. Because if he really is a 4.86, I mean, his
he's a
career is
5.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
his
mean,
his career is over.
yeah. I don't know, absurd. But let's okay, Tet McMillan landing spot then. Or GT, you have Raiders?
Gene T, I got Raiders at 6.
Let's finish the running backs. Henderson,
I think is going to be a faller. That is not a faller, but like I think he's not in the conversation for. I think he's not in the conversation for the first round. I think he probably ends up a second round. I'm going to guess Henderson is a second round pick to the Denver Broncos.
could see that one. Caleb Johnson,
Chief.
he feels
Second
cheeky
round.
to me too.
Second round Chief.
End of the second. Okay, and then Judkins.
So let me amend that if I'm wrong about Genty, he goes to the Raiders in the second. If he doesn't go to the Raiders, I have a little bit harder of a time fitting him in because he needs to go to a spot where a team is ready to give him the ball 280 times. That is like the right way to use him, and that's maybe a little bit less obvious. Like, so the first round guys are very clear, right? Hampton, Genty, that's it, right? It's like, well, maybe like New Orleans talks themselves into it or something.
I don't get
You know
this
what I'm
New
saying?
Orleans taking a running back talk. Like they have issues. They're not going to be. I don't know. I don't see expensive running back on the high list.
Bro, you know what? He'd actually be a great fit Broncos because they already have McLaughlin to play third downs or whatever. And so they could just be like, all right, we're going to play you in Javante's role.
I could see Judkins falling more for some reason. Because I know he's big. I know he ran fast at the combine, but
he's not as impressive of a player. You know, he is a little bit less explosive and is not as good of a pass catcher.
what about Bishel Tootin?
So that is the one. No one. I think Tootin ends up going day 3, right? And people don't want to hear that right now. They're like Tootin is just the high upside day 3 guy. I disagree. Let me call my shot. I'm looking at the list of teams right now.
Dolphins, baby.
Round 3 pick to the Patriots. Round 3 pick to the
blow
Patriots.
To Gibson then.
Maybe a death blow to Ramondre, brother.
Maybe. All right, let's do the wideouts. Tet McMillan.
Tet McMillan to the Los Angeles Chargers at pick 22.
Wow, that'd be a pretty big fall. I think Cowboys at 12. Golden, you have Cowboys, right?
Golden, I have Cowboys at 12.
I'm gonna say the Packers get them.
So I really want you to be right. I want the Packers to just take a first round wide receiver, but they're just so organizationally committed to not doing it. Like they never do it. Like the ownership doesn't like it, the front office doesn't like it. I hope they do. But
yeah, but that's like okay. And rookie running backs under Belichick weren't good until they were, right?
Until
like so it's like
yeah.
Things change. What about Burden and Egbuka?
So if Igbuka doesn't go to Houston, what do you think Houston does? Because I think they
They
need a
have
wide
to go
receiver.
O-line, right? Like they
That's
traded
yeah, that's what everyone says. Yeah.
I mean, like I get the connection, but first off, doesn't his skill set like overlap with Christian Kirk somewhat?
A
Anyways,
big time. Yeah, it
yeah.
does.
So like that'd be a little confusing. I don't know. You almost have to go O-line for them. Um, what about what do you think if they doesn't go to Houston?
So if he doesn't go to Houston, I think he is likely to be falling out of the first round, or he's actually maybe a pretty good fit for the Commanders. People don't think of the Commanders as being wide receiver needy. Their two wide receivers are 30.
Yeah, I think they're
Deep
pretty wide
Debo's
receiver.
30. Or I think Debo's 29. McLaurin is 30. I think they'd like to come out of the first or second round with one of these guys.
Then what about Burden?
Yeah, Burden. I think he should be a first round pick, and I think some of the teams that really fit what we're really trying to avoid is we're trying to avoid a Steelers pick, and maybe they solve that by trading for Metcalf. They had a
I don't think
huge
they're going
need.
wide out.
Yeah. Um, if
The,
Burden's a first rounder,
you want to
frankly, I don't
avoid the
really see it.
Seahawks. Like
Yeah,
you don't want like the third slot guy or whatever.
I don't really see a fit for him at the back end of the first round. So maybe he is more likely to be a second round pick. Like
Um,
all of these teams picking the second round need wide receivers, obviously. Patriots in round 2, I could definitely see that. He's kind of a Patriots-y style player.
yeah, and it's you got teams like the Browns, the Bills, like some of these teams have like 10 or 12 draft picks. So
Yes.
like people are saying the Browns could trade down. I mean, I don't think they should because you're not going to be able to get 14 rookies on your team.
Right.
Unless you're the Jaguars, in which their GM was like, "Yeah, we don't want to sign vets; they could just be in the way of the rookies." Like
Right.
we're restarting. Um, oh yeah, did you see Chris Sims had Kyle Williams as his wide receiver 2 in the class?
Chris Sims always does this. It's like his
Yeah,
whole brand. He doesn't look at numbers, he doesn't look at consensus rankings or anything. He just totally raw dogs the film. Uh not sure why, but yeah, he always comes up with stuff like that. He's Alec Pierce wide receiver 2 in a class or whatever.
hey, he could be right there, man. Alec Pierce is heating up.
Alec Pierce heating up, sure.
What about Higgins, Jaden Higgins?
I really like Higgins. He feels like a Packer to me. He feels very, very Packersy to me.
I think the Bengals should commit to the bit and draft him too.
Yes. I mean the Bengals should definitely take a wide receiver. I don't know if they will, but they definitely should. They I mean they just, they swung and miss on Burton, but they got to do it again.
He could pan out. Wouldn't it be that crazy for Andre Yosivas, who was pretty terrible, to also pan out as like a 9.9 Raz guy?
I'm pretty sure he's bad. I mean, he's like a DeMarcus Robinson. He just is he's going to get 64 targets in a season. And if he happens to come down,
If he gets 6 touchdowns, that's pretty
comes
nice.
down with 6 touchdowns and you feel good, but you just watch a play, he just doesn't quite get the intricacies. I mean, it's funny, him and DeMarcus Robinson. It's like him, DeMarcus Robinson, and Trey Tucker, I think, were the bottom 3 in targets per out run. The thing with Yoshi still developing is he's 26 or 27 years old already. All right.
What about Jackson Dart and Shadur?
So sadly, the window closed for Dart with the Seattle stuff. He ran out of places to go. Like I think he'll still be a first round pick.
I don't think no, the Steelers could draft him, the Jets could draft him.
So he's still going to be a first round pick, but it's going to be a bridge situation.
Well, like a Drake May one or a Jordan Love one?
More like a Jordan Love one than a Drake May one, I think, where it's totally possible that he sits for the entirety of his rookie year. Maybe not all of it, but maybe instead of playing what May played 11 games, I think, maybe he plays 7 games or whatever.
I think Shadur could be on the May path.
Yeah, if the Browns do not take Shadur, then you start looking at a situation where, okay, where does he go? You know, you look at it, you're like, okay, the Browns don't take him, the Giants don't take him, Patriots, Jags, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, Bears, 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts. None of these teams are not taking him. You get
Saints
to
for sure could take him.
say, I guess the Saints could take him. Don't know if they would. They like what they do with Carr's contract. They guaranteed
A lot of
more of
money.
it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess, and maybe the Raiders say, you know what, we got Geno for this time, but realistically, this is a bridge situation. So let's take Shadur and have him sit for a year. Or I guess the Raiders possibly could. Sure. Seems less likely to me, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, the commitment to Darnold is almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's basically cascading 1-year deals.
Yeah, so that they could totally. And then I could see the Chiefs wanting to trade back. Again, the Vikings at 24 or whatever. They definitely want to trade back. They're a team that the Browns could trade with to trade back up for Dart with their 12 picks, and the Vikings having none.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Although the Chiefs probably are more in their trade down era than trading up era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the Bills should trade up, right? Like they just need to get like a difference maker on their defense.
You know who the Bills should be interested in? They should be interested in Io Manor, who the chat is arguing about right now. I really had to, because I started out low on him. He was good at the combine. I think he's a lot better than I anticipated originally. He was more athletic than I thought he would be. And I mean, he just had this brutal target. This brutal quarterback. Ashton Daniels was his quarterback. He put up back-to-back 35% dominator rating seasons and didn't play at all as a true freshman because he injured his knee. He was a redshirt, so like his first ever year playing college football, 38% dominator rating. He was awesome, and I think he also is the best version of the T. Higgins style player in the class, like the big outside guy. I think he's better than Trey Harris. Obviously, he's not as good as Tet, but he kind of plays different than Tet, actually.
Bills are probably heavy favorites to go like D tackle, corner.
I was gonna say corner. They're in a
Safety.
good. There's not Will Johnson. There's another corner. I already forget the names, but there's a corner who's like mocked them quite often.
Yeah, everyone's mocking them corner. I mean, I don't like the Bills draft corner pretty well. Like late in the draft, they got to get some like game wreckers on the D line. Like they have some good guys. Maybe Joey Bosa's that, but I think they're gonna do something like that. But it is interesting that back end of the draft because you got like the Chargers who need wideout, the Raiders probably need wideout, Seattle does, although they're gonna run 2 tight end.
Seattle needs a wide receiver so bad because Cup is. I mean, how many games is Cup gonna play? You know what I'm saying? And then what if they might get 8 games into the season and be like, dude, this does not work. Like playing these 2 slot guys does not work.
Yeah. And then you got teams like the Browns who could trade up depending on their feeling about Cedric Tillman and if they don't go Hunter. The Pats, a lot of teams at the top of the draft. The Jags need wide receiver pretty bad at round 2. So feels like the guys like Jalen Noel, Iamor, Alec Iamonor, whatever, Higgins, Trey Harris. Seems like these guys could sneak and go on a run at the top of round 2.
Damn, I got freaking locked out of quarterback here pretty bad. What do you think, Diami or Gabe? What do you like better?
Diami.
I don't love it, but whatever. God damn, that is so annoying when you miss the wrong end of the quarterback.
You could have gotten Rodgers or Wilson.
Also, the people are asking about a true freshman shutting down Iomanor. Basically, what happened is one game against Louisville, he smashed. So against Louisville, this fella had 13 for 168 and 3, which was Ashton Daniels' best game. And Iomanor had 2 for 68 and a touchdown in that game. So in the context of did he get dusted by a true freshman? I'm gonna say no.
I'm not really worried about a single game.
Exactly.
Of anything, anyways. Yeah, I mean, the Jags are real. Like, I've been drafting a lot of Diami. Gabe will probably be out there, and then Parker Washington could be a smash as well. Who knows? Like, if they just don't draft wideout,
just feels like they probably will though, because I think when you cut Kirk and Ingram, you're saying like we're ready to just change the context of this room.
Yep, Mike Williams, dude, could have paired him with Herbert.
Not a Mike Williams drafter. Again, just to do I know I shouldn't do this, but I get so tilted when people are dumb. Adam, Alec Iamanor accounted for 40% of Stanford's passing offense while he was there for the 2 years he played. So it is not the only. He also ran a 4.440 at 210 pounds, which is like a 110 weighted adjusted speed score. I get so tilted. And this is on me, but I get unbelievably tilted. Liam, would you have taken a third tight end there with Hawkinson and Loveland? Would you have taken Juwan, or you think that was bad?
I mean, I'm definitely not going third quarterback with Jaden and Trevor.
Okay.
I'm always stopping 2 there. So that to me makes tight end fine. Especially because, I mean, I don't know, man. Loveland could be a smash, but he could be a pretty disappointing touchdown guy too.
I mean, first round, like even if he does go in the first round of the NFL draft, it's certainly no guarantee of production. Tight ends fail all the time.
And one of these dudes might land with the Colts, which is not what we want.
Please, yeah, you don't. Let me tell you, you don't. You got a big Colston Loveland bag. You got a big Tyler Warren bag. You are not actively rooting for him to go to the Colts.
No, and I've been I've been a little bit lower on Warren, but it seems more and more people are saying he's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft, which everyone says he's not Bowers, so I don't know why that's the case, but I guess he's close enough, and or Bowers is fresh in mind.
I don't think so, man. I just that is not my opinion on Warren. I think he's like a significant tier below there. All right, I need one more running back. Would probably prefer it to be a vet. Let's do. Khalil Herbert is a good one. If they don't take someone, and let's do.
Yeah, I mix him in.
I mean, obviously, if they take someone, he's totally dead. But
the Jets would be a pretty bad spot for Warren as well.
Jets would be really bad. Yeah, Jets would be brutal.
Tyler Conklin, You could see a miracle season.
He's a good pick. They signed another tight end too. Who's the other tight end that they signed? Not that that means anything, but I just am thinking off the top of my head. The other tight end they signed was, God damn it. Our lads now makes me block the ads. No, they didn't sign anyone else. Conklin, Disley, in the tight end room. Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about a spot? He could have like 80 catches if they don't draft someone good.
Conklin? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he really could. I mean, it's really unlikely, but
I mean, it is weird that
crazy.
he got so little money. He should have gotten like 3 years, 24 million for the projections, and he got like 1 year, 3. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
It's very bizarre.
And you could see Will Disley still being annoying. Thoughts on 5 QBs? Literally never, unless I get super.
Go play the dinger. If you want to take 5 guys at a onesie position, go play the dinger, Dane. You gonna do any Major League Baseball best ball to chase the overlay?
No, probably not. I don't know anything about baseball. And I am dying, dude. I got to get some water here.
Yeah. You can we can wrap these up, and yeah.
I got one more in me, but you're going to have to carry it.
Okay. I will do my best.
Okay. So my team, Herbert, Tua,
Check the private chat.
Derek Carr. Yep, I'm in there.
Here, I'll recap your team for you. Let's save let's save
I'm gonna get some water. You do that for us.
All right, Liam Wint, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison Jr., Amarian Hampton. I like that move to take Marvin Harrison Jr. there in a spot where he doesn't go. Hampton at 43, I like. Olave. Maybe I would have taken Jordan Addison there, but he did have a couple stacks set up. Henderson, Caleb. Would I have taken Jaylen Warren at 91 on this team? I probably would not have taken Jaylen Warren 91 on this team. I probably would have taken a quarterback. I would have taken Kyler at 91. Shaheed, so he's got the Saints double set up. Herbert at 115. Is that it's not a stack, it's fine. Hollywood Brown, Trey Harris, Tua with Tyreek, Isaiah Bond, Cole Kmet, Cade Otton, Derek Carr. He's got the double. Yoshi Voss, don't love it. Conklin, fine. Nick Westbrook-Akeen, fine. All right. I did Brian Thomas Jr., Ashton Genty. I did take Genty over Nico. I'm fine with it. I did the double slappy thing with Chase Brown. A little bit of a weird thing taking Jaden Daniels, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall at 61 and 60. Took Luther Burden. Tried to gamble on Brock Purdy to get him to come back around. Didn't work. Marvin Mims, Colston Loveland, Trevor Lawrence, Bayshell Tootin, Alec Iomanor, Ray Davis, Jalen Tolbert, Damian Martinez, Juwan Johnson, De'Ami Brown, Khalil Herbert, and final pick, Kavonte Turpin.
I think pairing Turpin and Tolbert's totally fine, but I mean, both could just not be anything, right? Like if both
could go to 0. Well, funnily enough, Tolbert is actually more likely to go to 0. Turpin will at least like have his dumb bullshit, his end arounds and his screens and stuff. But the upside with Turpin is, or the upside with Tolbert is they don't draft anyone, and he just like
that would be pretty crazy to me though.
It would be crazy.
If they don't draft anyone and they just roll with the same group, like what's your expectation there as a Cowboys,
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know, man. Like I think Tet's worth a top 15 pick in the draft. I don't think he's Quentin Johnston, but
no, I don't think he's QJ. The thing is he just is a style of wide receiver that's less in vogue now. The big guy who can like who's not that fast, like he's fast, but he's not that fast, is just less desirable because defenses want to keep everything in front of them. So you want guys who can add a ton of yak.
Mike Evans and Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, yeah, he's not that, but I don't know, man. I think
That's the thing, is he is not that style of player. He's not the let me go win balls 47 yards down the field. He's more, I mean, Drake London is the comp. Like, let's just be real. He is just kind of a smooth.
JJ had Cortland Sutton and T. Higgins.
Yep. Yeah.
Which,
Sutton more than Higgins to me, because Higgins is so, like, Higgins makes those crazy acrobatic, he catches it with one hand as he's going to the ground and steadies himself and like gets the ball, like T is like
T. Higgins without Joe Burrow would be thought of a lot differently. We would be like, this dude doesn't separate, like,
man, he was awesome in college. T was a fucking sick player at Clemson. To be fair, he did play with Trevor Lawrence though.
Cannot wait for this draft. Hampton, if he does get that top 20 draft capital, top 30, whatever.
Yeah, he's one of the most underpriced guys.
I could see him leaping Jacobs, Brown, Hall, Kyron, Cook, depending what happens with these guys in the draft. Like, if Kyron survives the draft, he'll probably go up. If Chase Brown survives the draft, he'll go up. If Cook gets a contract,
that's a great one. If Chase Brown survives the draft, they take a day 3 guy, like and not even like a day 3 guy that people like. Like if they take Jaden Blue or something, like guy who's just okay. I mean, I'd rather have him than Josh Jacobs. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they are going to take.
Do. Like their defense is and O-line is like really bad.
So bad.
Like I don't know how they justify drafting a running back super high unless they just think that like Hampton is their answer to everything. Like I think that's why I've been just drafting Chase Brown a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I've got like 14% of them. What is the Bengals draft pick situation? I wonder if they have like a compensatory one or something. Like I honestly don't know.
And like they might even want to draft wide receiver over running back.
Yeah, so they don't have extra picks. So it's definitely not that, like, I wouldn't say they're like a lock to take a running back by any means.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 5th round, sure, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it seems like everyone is acting like all these running backs are gonna get competition,
right?
And they're just not, right?
Just the way it works is that is just not going to happen. Oh shit! I had the wrong draft board up.
I don't think Aaron Jones is a terrible pick. Like, I don't think Mason signals the end for Jones, but he's obviously a little bit of a loser. Warren, him, Pollard.
Well, he's definitely a loser compared to have running back Cam Akers and Ty Chandler. Definitely a loser compared to that. And I mean, I guess the market was anticipating it to some degree because they did only have 4 picks.
It might help him. It might help keep him healthy,
Might help keep him healthy. That's definitely true. Also, I mean, an undrafted free agent in this class, like there might be an Isaiah Pacheco in this class,
Maybe. I mean, we got like 3 rookies we were intrigued by last year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Brees. I have almost no Brees.
Yeah. I did Tyreek instead of T. I don't know.
Yeah, I like to do Tyreek over T too.
Well, and that combo, dude.
It's like feel so dumb if Tyreek like has like 1,700 yards.
You're gonna feel insanely dumb, and you're also gonna feel insanely dumb I mean, I don't know. Like, with all due respect to our ability to prognosticate these things, like, it is all pretty random, and you do just want to have the best plays. And this is probably very 60 IQ of me, but it feels like, okay, you show up in the finals with Chase and T, and you're just like, all right, well, Chase and T both smashed the week before, and every team has them both. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just have one of them than both of them.
Well,
Maybe that's very 40 IQ.
no, what you're hoping for if you go Chase and T is that T gets you there, Chase wins it for you, or vice versa.
Well, really, what you're hoping for is that having Chase and T disincentivizes the
Yeah,
room.
Davis, your cam is bad. I wasn't sure if that was my internet, but you're fuzzy.
Oh, I think I know what it is. It should be better now. Is it better now?
You're still pretty fuzzy.
I'm gonna pop back out and back in.
Okay. Well, my thought on yeah, you're better now. You're better now. You're not just a grainy.
For whatever reason, my computer was not using my hardwiring. It was using my Wi-Fi, so I had to turn the Wi-Fi off.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, if Chase or T is needed week 17, which they one of the two almost always is, it seems.
Yeah.
You would prefer just to get lucky in pods and just drag the one you needed and not have the one that has a good week 16.
Right.
Right. But you can't really control for that.
No. And that's the thing. It's like any of the, like we talk a lot about best ball and we think a lot about like the absolute 99.99th percentile because we want to get first place. But like I was having this thought while I was working out this morning, thinking about like how a best ball final would sim. And like the way a best ball final would sim would be the best teams, the teams with the highest expected value would just be the teams that projected for the most points without really thinking about ownership. Like it wouldn't, the sim would not really make a differentiation between T Higgins being on 20% of the teams in the finals and T Higgins being on 35% of the teams in the finals. It would just want you would
sim better if you had the only CD Lamb team.
You would sim better if you had the only one, for sure, but not really the difference between CD Lamb being on 16 teams and on 47 teams. It would be pretty flat.
Sure. I mean, Cook, obviously he's due for regression, but also, I mean, the man was really good as a goal line back. I just think, like, I've not been taking much Allen, which to me, if you're not doing that, you should be taking Cook because it means that Cook is scoring the touchdowns.
Right.
They're a sneaky team to draft one of these running backs too. And like, they have 2 second-round picks. They got several fourths or whatever. So you could see one of these guys landing there. I think Miami is too.
Damn, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to bite the goddamn bullet. I didn't even want to take Burrow there, but I was just looking. I was like, this is dust.
Yeah,
like,
I do want to be doing that more because I think the wide receiver tier is like relatively
super flat.
From like, it's like, okay, can't you envision Jaden Reed and Calvin Ridley outscoring Jordan Addison and Tet? Like, yes, easily, right? So
I used to just take Hampton there, but now you can't even. That is impossible.
Yeah, there'll be random drafts where he falls. Not when I say, not when I note that he could jump all these guys. The stream before, but Metcalf. I mean, I think him with Rodgers is pretty exciting as well. Just like souped up Darius Slayton.
I have Metcalf and Pickens both ranked below their ADP. Like they're fine, but the thing with the Steelers is they're gonna play slow and they're gonna run, and Rodgers is gonna play even slower Like your week 17 game is probably going to be outdoors in some like what is the week 17 total of the Steelers game? You know, like 43 and a half total or something.
Well, when they get lucky and they're in the Lions dome,
Right. Sure.
you know. But no, if it's outside, it's not great.
I mean, what was the total of Chiefs Steelers? It was like 44 or something, I think. And it
Yeah.
ended up like Kelsey ended up being okay, like whatever. But yeah.
No, that like I was kind of fading Chiefs because I was like, I don't think this is a good Week 17 matchup.
It was
And
like
that's
the only good game Mahomes had all year. It was like literally the only time he played well the whole season.
but not well enough to match Jaden and Joe.
Yeah, by well I mean he got like 24 points or whatever. It was Kelsey who had the meaningful game that week.
So who could be CMC'd this year? Who could be Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins? To me, the list is CMC. If the Niners stink, they trade him. Cooper Kupp. If Seattle's like brutal, they could trade him. Tyreek Hill definitely could be traded. If the Ravens are like really bad randomly, Derrick Henry, like that's not that likely. But who else comes to mind for you?
You're saying a veteran that's likely to be traded or could be traded?
Could be. You could see them getting traded. Yeah.
I could see one of the Packers wide receivers getting traded, actually. Just any there. I guess they're not really veterans, but I could see any of them being traded. I could see Calvin Ridley being traded, very similar to DeAndre.
That's pretty like you're gonna draft Cam Ward and then trade his own. Like it doesn't matter how bad they are, they're not trading him.
Okay. Mark
Like,
Andrews. Could you see Andrews getting traded?
yes, but that would take the Ravens being bad and or
good. Or good, right?
Yeah, if Likely's just really good.
Just smashing. You know what? I'm just sitting here filtering through the ADPs, thinking about likelihood of guys getting traded. And you're the biggest Brandon Aiyuk fanboy that I know. Why do they want to trade this guy so bad?
I don't think they do. I think that's. I mean,
it just keeps popping up. Diana Rossini mentioned it yesterday. Like, what is? Maybe not. Why do they want to trade him? What is your read on why that stuff keeps popping up?
it's probably just like people without info connecting dots and or everyone just knows that the 49ers are
fire sailing.
That they're past their window a bit, right?
Yeah.
And they have Jennings and Pearsall, which seems fine, right? Like you could definitely roll with those two guys.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't know though, because like they paid Aiyuk at the right time. Like if it's not like if he got paid this year, you'd
be getting way more money.
He'd be getting another like 40 million. Yeah. So I don't know. Unless unless he just hates him. If Shanahan just like really hates him. Like that's
Shanahan. So Shanahan, I don't let anyone mistake my anti Aiyuk stance for a pro Shanahan stance. He is a fucking dickhead. Kyle Shanahan, absolute dick. I mean, he just is always messing with his guys. Remember when Aiyuk got
doghoused?
He was like, "Oh, you're gonna be behind River Crack Raft," It's like just enough, dude. Or the Aiyuk wanted to practice in like these one shorts, and Kyle's like, "You can't practice in these shorts, bro. You got to do whatever." It's just like, bro, you're the worst, Kyle. And I mean, I am not an Aiyuk guy. I think he's overrated and overpaid or whatever. But I mean, they need. I'll say this: they need him more than he needs them at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, him getting traded would arguably be good if he gets traded to the Pats, if he gets traded to the Commanders, right? But I don't know. I think it's pretty unlikely you're going to trade him midseason. How about the who amongst Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, some of these guys who really disappointed last year, who amongst them do you think are most likely to rebound and put up a good year?
Tyreek. If you just say Tyreek, weird season, offensive line's terrible, the whole offense is screens to Jonnu, Waddle was bad, A-Chain wasn't efficient, Mike McDaniel was seeing ghosts, the coaching equivalent of seeing ghosts. Tyreek has the injured wrist, all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, Tyreek is still him. Tyreek can still show up and beat him. I gotta pee so bad. You gotta carry me for 37 seconds.
Okay. To me, I mean, yes, Tyreek is most likely to put up the mega smash, but Jalen Waddle, young, almost always he's been a second and third round pick in fantasy, which I wasn't into him. Now he's a 5th round pick. Seems like a good guy to rebound and put up a good year. Debo, I could see going either way. Cup, I'm not too into. But I'll take him here or there. Let's see. What am I going to do here? I think I'll take Hawkinson this time. Travis,
it could definitely happen for Debo. And it could happen for Debo in a way where he's not even good anymore. But the whole,
I'd rather be betting on Waddle than Debo, though.
The whole Cliff offense is predicated around freaking screens, Like it's just all screens and horizontal stuff.
But after Waddle's been like a 2nd round pick 3 years running, do you think really belongs next to Cortland Sutton? Like, same thing with Chris Olave. Like, these guys were like 1-2 turn picks. And it was really bad last year, right? Like, no disagreement there. But
yes. Yeah. Cup, I have a hard time seeing a huge resurgence from. He went to a bad spot for his skill set. Like him and JSN are so duplicative. I think it's
I think this is like pretty crazy. The people who are pulling Fields up like 40.
Tyler, what are we doing, bro? Is that can't be his ADP?
No, his ADP is like 120. I just think it's like he could knock.
Who took Kyler from me?
The Jets could take the Marvin Harrison guy. The Jets could 100% take Dart, right? If Fields survives the draft, okay, it's better, but I don't know. I don't see the reason to be doing that.
Man, let me tell you, dude, I'm tilting right now. What do I do here? I literally do not know who to pick. There are no good picks here. Oh,
you're taking the guy who retires?
There you go. Took another guy who's 97.
Oh. Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes. When you don't go quarterback.
That is not Justin Fields' ADP, though. I just need to confirm. Okay.
No. Look, he belongs in this group, but
I thought I ranked Justin Fields very aggressively, and Justin Fields was my most drafted quarterback before he signed for the Jets. But that is a bit aggressive even for me, and I like Justin Fields.
I would not be taking Fields over Bo Nix, who also has rushing upside and is going to start every game.
Yeah.
The thing about Justin Fields is, like, do people think I understand he's had good fantasy games, but do people think he's good? Like,
Fields?
Yeah. No, I don't think we do think he's good.
Some people think he's good. I don't think he's good. I just think he's awesome for fantasy. And if like, let's say this is just their quarterback room. They don't take Dart. They don't take Sugar. They don't take Milrow. I mean, he is going to go in this range.
The thing is, though, no, agreed. Like, if he survives the draft, yes. But when you've shown yourself probably not to be good with evidence that you are on your third team in 3 years and got traded for like a 5th round pick, you're drawing very live to be last year's Daniel Jones, where you just get
so
benched.
I'm pushing back on that because Jones obviously has never shown the ceiling. Like, I mean, shit. Actually, I'm looking at my shit now. Fields is still my most drafted quarterback.
Daniel Jones showed massive ceiling that 1 year.
No, he did not. He had 600 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
Fields,
and he had like an 80-yard rushing touchdown.
Fields had a 1,200-yard rushing season. It is these are not even.
I'm not saying
numbers.
that Jones showed the same upside as Fields, but it's pretty disingenuous to say Jones, who was like QB8 that year, didn't have massive upside.
But he doesn't have, like, Fields could be the highest scoring quarterback in fantasy upside if he just plays 17 games.
Yeah, I think that's very unlikely. Like, I think he's going to be game managed, but sure, anyone could be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy if we want to say that.
No, that is disingenuous and not database at all. Fields actually, this is a good stat. I pulled this one out last year. Fields has more 40-point games since his rookie year than every other quarterback. Maybe I'd have to check it for Daniels last year, but I believe that is still the case. The Fields has more 40-point games than all other quarterbacks. It's not the same because
with like most of them coming against the Lions.
No, this. Oh, dude, you're tilting me right now. You are.
He had that one fantastic year. Let's pull
He's still good when he starts. He's not a good player. I'm not saying Justin Fields is a good player that you want on your team.
He was not that good of a fantasy quarterback last year.
I mean, he had a 35-point game and a 29-point game last year.
He had a 23-point game and a 30-point game, and every other game was below, he obviously has one of the hugest single week ceilings, which is good, right? But if he's going to be treated like he was with the Steelers, aka play defense, run the ball, etc., he's just not going to be reaching 40 points in many games or 30 points. But I don't know. And I think, again, he has pretty big risk of getting benched down the season.
Would you take ETN and Bigsby, or is that too fancy?
No, I think that's fine. I think you could totally not survive the draft.
Yeah, I got too scared. All I'm saying, I'll just say this: you're definitely your opinion on Fields is definitely wrong in the way you're explaining it. Now, you might be right in the aggregate because he's Justin Fields and he can play poor enough to get benched for Tyrod Taylor, but you are arguing in bad faith against
No,
Justin
I don't
Fields.
think he would get benched. If they draft Dart, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster. Yeah,
it is an active disaster for him. And if Fields is not good in what's turning into maybe a toughish division, like, you could see the Patriots defense being really good with them spending all this money. It was really bad last year, so probably not. But
now, again, people are taking this too far, saying he could not even start over Tyrod. Like, can we just have some
not what I'm saying.
I know, but can we just have some level-headed, honest, good faith analysis? Good faith analysis is, if Justin Fields starts 17 games, which let's price it, what would you say? Well, if you were gonna give me a non-injury line, you can make your pick. But let's say let's set the line at not excluding injury, so performance related. They don't take Dart. They don't take Jalen Milroe. They don't take anyone. What would you make the odds? Well, Liam taking Dalton. We're all playing the hits right now. What would you make the odds that Fields starts 17 games if this is their quarterback room?
If their quarterback room is
Tyrod, Fields, and Jordan Travis.
Well, very, very high in that scenario, unless he plays terrible and then the coach is just, he's a new coach.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you to price it right now.
Well, the bigger point I'm trying to make is that, yes, Fields has high single week upside. He also showed last year that if he's going to be a game manager and not just run all over and scramble, he has a very low floor, right? And he hits that low floor at a semi-decent rate. So it's not like Kyler doesn't have top 5 QB overall upside. Kyler could be the QB1, right? Goff.
So I agree with what you're. So I agree with where you're driving at, but if I can do a small disagreement here, Fields is a way better runner than Kyler, and runs
Sure, but you
way
can't
more
debate that.
often.
Like Kyler was like a top 2 guy in fantasy, right? Was it
Yes.
back when Deshaun Watson was good? Yes.
It was a long time ago, but yes.
But we've seen that, right?
Yeah.
And we know Kyler is starting all of the games.
Yes.
We think Fields might start all the games, but there's the draft. And Fields was going as late as a undrafted at times for large portions of this contest. And you can still get Fields at the ADP of 150.
Somehow I'm arguing. This is so fucking tilted. This is classic Davis and Liam shit. I'm now like this originally started out from me arguing a position I agree with, which is I think you should have a lot of Fields in this contest. I don't love taking him at now. I have him ranked in the 120s. I
have him somewhere around there. But like if we just want to say someone has a high single week upside, Anthony Richardson has a high single week upside. People just accept that he has bench risk a little bit more than Fields. Like, I don't know. It seems pretty unlikely to me the Jets want to go into next year with just Fields and Tyrod Taylor.
I mean, teams do shit like that, though.
It could be. What if they take Jalen Milroe? How would you be feeling then?
I feel fine about because Milroe's I think. By the way, I think they should. If the Jets called me and they paid me $25,000 to consult with them, I'd say you absolutely should take Milroe. I'm going to take JJ McCarthy.
And then also, like, just hammering the same quarterback. You want to talk about a team that could be playing in a snowstorm week 17. The Jets in Buffalo, the Jets at their own stadium, right? Like, if you're going to say that for Rodgers, it's not, sure, you can run in the snow, but I don't know. In general, you should be varying your quarterbacks anyways. And I think, like, we could see Dak Prescott be QB3 again, right? Like, that is a healthy Dak. Drafts Ted McMillan. We could see CJ Stroud be QB5 again, right? Simply he throws for 45 touchdowns.
Yes, right? I don't disagree with you, but I guess
you like the rushing QBs, and
I like dudes who could get 40, man, and yes. Fields can get 40.
Correct. Now, I like guys who can do that week 17.
A part of the argument we have not even gotten into yet. Oh shit! I just had a point in my head and then I lost it. Fuck! What was I about to say? The chat distracted me. Oh fuck! Oh, the part we have not even gotten into yet is the correlated stuff. Like, do you? Oh no, that's not the point. What does 40 points a quarterback even mean? Because it still does not separate you a ton.
40 does somewhat. 40 does, but
okay, let's call it 35. 35.
Yeah, like, when the average quarterback scoring 25,
or Burrow gets 28. 303 is 28 basically on Underdog. I don't know. Basically,
like if someone thinks their edge in the contest is drafting 80% Justin Fields, I would
I'd
strongly
buy
push
it.
back against that.
Yeah, see, I would buy that. I would say if you think that's your edge, you should push it. Like if you know something
I
we
would be
don't
like,
know,
okay, so you don't know. Your edge should ideally be at one of the positions that can separate. To
right?
be like, okay, I know an undervalued running back. I know literally every running back could score 11 points or less, and one running back could score 35. That is a huge gap, right? But I don't know. Look, do what you want, guys. If you want to take Fields in the 7th round, so be it, right?
I would say Fields for me starts after Kyler, Baker, and Bo. But like, if you told me Fields is just like a better pick than Love, I'm like, yeah, probably. Like Jordan Love doesn't run; it's a low volume offense. I would
Jordan Love
accept
is the
that.
same thing as Dak, as Stroud, as Trevor, as Tua. Every single one of these dudes, we're hoping throws for
4
5,000
touchdowns in the
yards.
right week. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're hoping they throw for 40 touchdowns, right? I personally think Love was just injured last year and that he's a top quarterback in the NFC, but we're going to see there.
I've
Um,
gone back and forth on Love so many times of being like, oh, I want to buy this guy on all my dynasty teams to he's just he's fancy Sam Darnold or whatever.
Still seems crazy that Jerome Ford goes after dudes who we know
Are
or
handcuffs.
we
Yeah.
know they are handcuffs.
Yeah.
Ford might be a handcuff, right?
Yeah.
Like he might be the starter too. I believe he was one of the few running backs to have a positive EPA per rush. Doesn't really mean much. He didn't have that many attempts, you know.
He had a couple long ones.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what you want in best ball, right? Where it's like, I like Ray Davis, but if he is, ripping off 5-yard runs, that's not the same thing as a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah. No, it is a good point.
Rico
Man,
Dowdle, I also think this is like crazy disrespectful for him to go after. Like, I don't view Rico Dowdle as the clear 2. I view him closer to a 1B.
Is Wandale better with Russ? I think he might be. I think Wandale is like a decent click with Russ. I don't know. Maybe that's a
The issue
psyop.
for Wandale is his teammate is Malik Neighbors, right? Like,
And maybe Travis Hunter.
and maybe Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Fields survives the draft, yeah, I'll be pretty into him, but I still think he is on the short list of quarterbacks who I have significant worry would get benched by the time the money is won in best ball. Which
Your Fields?
Yeah. Like Fields, I would be worried about. Derek Carr, I'd be worried about getting benched by the money weeks. Not as concerned, but some small concern for Bryce Young being benched by the money weeks. Russell, obviously, huge concern, benched by the money weeks. Penix, not really big concern, but small concern. Small concern he could get benched if they keep Kirk Cousins or something crazy.
I mean, Cousins is on the team. I don't, it's like
but so was Jordan Mason until he wasn't,
just harder. It's harder to move Cousins money, but yes, I agree. The thing is do you think that Cleveland ends up with Cousins? Because that's the spot.
Yeah,
I do.
I do.
I almost took Palmer just as a bit, just to do.
I mean, look, Palmer. Like, what's the difference between Josh Palmer and Romeo Doubs, right? Like you're hoping that he's the same thing, just on the Bills.
I mean, I don't really like Dobbs or Palmer, but your point is taken. It's just very funny that I took Travis Kelce and I didn't know what to do, and you have Kincaid and Palmer on the team. Like we're just drafting our guys.
I mean, Palmer is like, some people are really enthusiastic there. Like they're taking him 12th round, 13th round.
Yeah, I've just
I'm
never been
I'm
a
not
Palmer
there,
guy.
but he does seem like the quintessential touchdown dude, right? Just like in the right weeks.
He
Um,
never he never scored. You know who actually feels better to me is Samuel. Samuel, you could tell me Curtis Samuel scored 4 touchdowns in the money weeks for the Bills.
well, and it a lot depends on Keon Coleman, right? Like one of the number one predictors of like year 2 fantasy production for a wide receiver is simply how many games you played.
Yeah.
Keon's got that going for him. He played pretty much all the games. Um, I still wonder like what is a ceiling like and Josh tried to get it to him. He was quite bad on um deep balls, but and the Bills probably signed Palmer because you know who he had his best games against?
The Bills. I
No.
don't even know if that's true. Oh,
No, the
against the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Against the
Always.
Chiefs.
It's always against the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Um Curtis Samuel, man, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a good year, but it would be a little surprising.
Well, let me tell you my theory on that. My theory is that, and you're going to disagree with this, but my theory is they do kind of need a short area target, and that they're going to give up on trying to make Kincaid happen and use Samuel for more of that stuff than Kincaid. That's my current operational theory.
It wouldn't surprise me if Curtis Samuel is not in the NFL past training camp,
Also, also agree. Yeah.
right? Like
Also possible.
where he had turf toe. You hope he recovers from that. He's been quite good his whole career. So last year was a weird year for him.
Yeah.
I do think you should expect Shakir to take another step too, right? But touchdowns are just going to be hard to come by in Buffalo if Josh takes the rushing and Cook / Davis / whoever takes the rushing touchdowns. Um, let's see here. This group of wide receivers is such a choose.
It's so bad.
It's like a choose your adventure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do another tight. I mean, Colt Kmet, he could not survive the draft too. I think they're, like they're a sneaky team for Warren or Loveland. But if he does, decent touchdown upside.
Yeah. No, 100%. I really hate my running backs. I kind of blew this one. My team's not very good actually. I just didn't draft a very good team. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you know when you're drafting it that it's not going to be very good. I'm like out of good running backs too. This is
It was
brutal.
like fashionable to hate on Cam Scatabo, and then like a bunch of people on Twitter started liking him. Now everyone likes him again.
So my deal with him is I expected the bad combine to like for the NFL to basically be like, oh, like we're done. We're out on this guy. And that's not what has happened. Like all of his like draft stuff, his mock draft stuff, all the scouts and everything, they're like, yeah, no, we think he can still play. So that's why I still take him.
How are you feeling about Devin Neal?
Not as good about Devin Neal. He was one of the guys I really
He's probably
liked.
wildly overpriced. Like, I mean, maybe he's not, but he for him to
Well,
go
I think
26 ahead of Rico Dowdle.
I think he's really good. I guess that is my thing. Is like it's like that is like a film like take on basically really it is just like I just think he's really good, but he probably is going to be a day 3 pick.
I mean, Rico Dowdle will probably in a bad year have 100 fantasy points, which is like that's not terrible for a running back hitting your
Yeah.
lineup. Devin Neal could be a crush, but let's see here. I guess I'm just not going to have any Texan correlation because someone took Dak Prescott. Maybe Cooper signs with the Texans. Is anyone like Keenan Allen? Who's signing him? I think the Patriots should.
See, I just think he just goes back to the Bears. Because he said
I don't
that's
think
what
I don't think Ben Johnson wants him.
that's what that's what he said. He only wants to play in Los Angeles or for Chicago again. So his options would be third, maybe fourth wide receiver on the Rams, play second fiddle behind Ladd on the Chargers, or run it back on the Lions.
And the
Someone
Bears.
someone said this, Devin Neal is Bucky Kyron style. I totally agree with that. Very, very similar, where it's just like all the dude does is produce and, does the right stuff, but not super athletic, so it might not work out for him. He might be a day 3 pick.
Who signs Amari Cooper?
No one, probably.
You think he's done?
Yes. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, someone's gonna sign him, man. There are some really desperate teams out there.
Maybe the Ravens. They always sign the 100-year-old guy.
They're not doing that.
The who else signed? Seahawks always sign 100-year-old guys.
He gives me Charger vibes a little bit. It's overlapping with Mike Williams, but blocking guy,
He just is. I don't know, man. You got to watch it play. He just fucking stinks.
Well,
Titans.
The thing is,
there you go. Titans.
The Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is their depth chart right now? Calvin Ridley and
no one. Who? That's a good question. Who is the Titans' second wide receiver right now?
It's like Kyle Phillips.
I think technically it's Traylon. I believe technically it's probably Traylon.
Traylon Floplag?
Yeah. What is Traylon's ADP in this? Traylon wide receiver 154. So he does get drafted some. How about that? Van Jefferson. Yeah, they signed Van Jefferson.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Jesus, man.
That's pretty dark.
That's very dark.
So their plan probably is to do what is in vogue, where you take the quarterback at 1 and the wide receiver at 33.
Yes. And they should, right? Because their O-line's decent. Their defense lost some guys, but
if you take the quarterback, you cannot send him into war with Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks, Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, Chigakonkwo, and Josh Wiley.
Chig, I could see him being a pretty good value.
Yeah. Oh God, dude, this is Will Shipley chasing. Sure, this is brutal. This team stinks.
Will Shipley's always a good pick to me.
Yeah, I just I played it too fast and loose at running back. It's not great.
I don't love that. I got
that happens.
Stroud with no one, but probably gonna go skinny and or maybe I'll do 2.
You could still take John Mechie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna live with these wide receivers.
Does anyone know if if Christian McCaffrey is playing in this NFLPA golf event? So if I can scout his Achilles strength, do we think Christian McCaffrey is at the NFLPA golf?
Who is the Texans RB2 right now? Just not on the roster, right?
Yeah, probably not on the roster. Past week, Christian McCaffrey golf got nothing. Don't think he's at the NFLPA event. Yeah, their running back 2 is whoever they pick in round 5. Yeah, but I believe technically it's probably Dameon Pierce who probably is cut before the start of the season, I would imagine.
Oh, and I think they re-signed Dare.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have your special teams captain.
He's got a little pass catching juice.
He's 1 billion years old. I think he might be Dare might be the oldest running back in the NFL now. No, he's not older than Derrick Henry. Yeah, he's 30. He's gonna turn 31.
Some people yesterday were on the JJ stream, they were flabbergasted that someone would take Gene T over Derrick Henry. And my advice to those people is to just ask yourself, like, who will be a first round pick next year? Ginty, what's the odds? Like minus 200 that he is a first round pick. Derrick Henry,
Oh, like minus 1,000.
yeah, Derrick Henry is like plus, plus 800 to be a first round pick, plus 8,000. Simply not going to be the case. So
I agree. Yeah.
Patterson.
I mean, Patterson is older. It just depends on how you classify him. Just depends on if you classify him as a wide receiver, a running back, a special teamer. But it is Cordarrelle Patterson. If you do it that way, Latavius Murray. It used to be Latavius Murray. He retired, I believe. So I think Henry is the oldest now. Oldest running back in the NFL. Second round pick. Do we think that's good? Do we think that's bad? Oh, Mostert's older. Yes, Mostert is. Thank you. I in my head, Mostert is retired.
Have you been taking any Mosterts or Hunts?
No. Hunt I took once just as in case I'm wrong. Like it would be very painful to see Kareem Hunt get 250 rushes for my favorite football team again and financially benefit from it in absolutely no way, shape, or form. So I've taken a little bit just as a
Feels
hedge.
like he's going to get cut in training camp, but
he feels like remember the year Carlos Hyde was in training camp with the Chiefs and then ran for 1,000 yards for the Texans? That feels like. And the Chiefs always do this. Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Carlos Hyde, LaShawn McCoy. Like Andy Reid just loves to bring in these fucking 29-year-old absolute dust shitters. So I think yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
What about Mostert? Like, it seems very likely they're going to be taking Ginty, but
even if they don't take Ginty, I just it's hard for me to. He looked doner than done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he pairs well with some rookie running backs where you just need
man. I couldn't even get Trey Tucker on this team to stack with Geno. Tough scenes.
My team ended up being Love and Stroud, Breece Hall, James Cook, David Montgomery. That's my 69th. Nice. Jerome Ford, Sean Tucker, Jarquez Hunter, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Palmer, Amari Cooper, Andre Yoshivas. All these dudes, really from Mims down, you're hoping for the same thing. Just like score some touchdowns.
Just score some touchdowns, yeah.
Hawkinson, Kincaid, Komet. Could see that being frisky. Davis, how do you end up?
Okay, I gotta pull it back up because I closed it. I did Burrow, McCarthy, Geno. Geno's unstacked, uncorrelated, so I don't really know why I took him. Running back room: James Conner, Tank Bigsby, Cam Scatterbo, Devin Neal, Elijah Mitchell, Will Shipley. Wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Jordan Addison, Burden, Hunter, Io Manor, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Short King Summer, Trey McBride, Travis Kelce, Harold Fannin Jr. Yeah, that was 113 and 114 for me. So I am getting to the end here.
Pretty nice value on Geno, but I think I'm going 2 QB with pick 49.
It's just whatever. And frankly, I hate the way these teams look. The combination of
this doesn't look great.
But the combination of taking Burrow when I should have tried to push him around, and then also taking McBride, so you have the double elite onesie. Your team just sucks.
I don't. The third tight end when you have Kelce, McBride. No,
Kelce is going to be dead by the money weeks.
Well, then don't take him at all, man. Draft like you're right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'll have streams this week. It's going to depend how I am feeling. Feeling quite sick, as you can hear. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out beatbestball.com, and for Davis, his Patreon. Anything else you want to tell the people, Davis?
Nope, streaming this afternoon. I'm gonna stream some of the MLB BRs and NBA BRs this afternoon. Just gonna kind of hang out.
Very nice. For Liam, for Davis, be sure to like, subscribe, and have a great day. Peace out.